Back with another video, Big Mouth Sports Talk. You know the vibes. I'm your host, Anthony, and I'm going to start by saying thank you to everybody that watched my last videos. Much love. Tap that like, hit the subscribe, do the right thing. Okay, let's talk business. Let's talk turkey. Let's talk football. Monday Night Thriller, 8:15 p.m. The Buffalo Bills face off against the Tennessee Titans at Nissan Stadium. Tennessee Titans fans, off with your whole head, boy, because the Bills are coming in there to make a statement once again. The number one ranked team is coming to your home, okay? Now let's start with the defense. The defense is ranked number one in the league, giving up 11.6 points per game, pass yards per game, 173.4, rush yards per game, 78.4, ranked third, 3.7 yards per carry, ranked fourth. This is very important, that statistic, because we're going up against Derrick Henry, the best back in the NFL. Last year, he had an MVP caliber season, 2,000 yards running that ball. Okay? This year, 126 yards per game, and he leads the league with rushing yards, attempts, and rushing touchdowns. So that Buffalo Bills defensive line that has played very well thus far needs to step up, buckle down, and own that line of scrimmage because this is going to be a tough task. Now, the Tennessee offensive line is struggling right now, which is good for that defensive line. If we're talking about pass protection, they're ranked dead last, allowing 20 sacks. They've allowed 20 sacks, okay? So the offensive line is shaky, which gives Buffalo a great opportunity to get at Derrick Henry before he gets rolling down that field, to get him in that backfield before he bursts through a hole or cuts to the sideline. You know, this thing is going to come down to the Buffalo Bills defense, defensive line and linebackers, especially linebackers too, hitting that gap hard and, making good contact on Derrick Henry so we can slow him down and get 2-3 guys on him, or making that tackle outright. Now, this is going to be a very tough test for the Buffalo Bills defense because if Derrick Henry gets rolling, because we know he's going to get the rushing attempts, he's going to get the ball. And not only is he going to get the ball, he's going to get it a lot. And he's going to be trying very hard to pound that defense and take them down. So if he gets rolling, it's going to be very bad because, number one, they're going to own the time of possession. So we got an MVP caliber player on the other side of that field, Josh Allen. And if he can't get on the field very much, that's going to obviously be a problem because we need him to build a rhythm, get that momentum going. We need to establish a run game, work our offensive threats with that vertical threat with Emmanuel Sanders that was just added, and Stephon Diggs, who's going to get his touches, Dawson Knox, who's playing phenomenal thus far at tight end. So it's going to be very important to not let them own that time of possession, okay? And another thing that's going to happen, if they start running that ball 5 yards a carry plus, right, and they start getting first down after first down, and they're going on 10-play drives, that's taking up 8 minutes of the clock, and they're scoring touchdowns, that's going to be rough. Another thing that's going to be rough is if that happens where they're running the ball so effectively, then they're going to start incorporating that pass. They're going to start throwing in, that play action to A.J. Brown, he's coming back this game. He's a very good player. The Tennessee Titans have missed him dearly. A.J. Brown is a strong player, tall, wide receiver, and he's got great hands. He's very strong, especially towards that red zone. He's some guy you can toss it up to, and he can come down with that. So we don't want to let them dictate, the course of the game. So defense needs to buckle up, play strong, play fast, play hard, and really pursue that ball carrier, okay? And I believe that the defense is going to do a pretty good job at that. I do not think that you're going to be able to just completely shut out Derrick Henry, but we can minimize that damage by, getting stops and hitting them in the backfield, and swarming to the football. Maybe punching one out. Who knows? So that's very important. Now, let's flip the script. Buffalo Bills offense also ranked number 1 in the NFL. Okay? 34.4 points per game we're averaging, right? Rushing yards, huge statistic. 140 yards per game with 4.5 rushing average. Massive. I think we're going to see a lot more of Zach Moss. I think Singletary is still going to get those reps. They're going to split the reps because it's a great, tag team between those two. But I think we're going to see a little bit more Zach Moss because he's been really running the ball well, and they've seen over the past couple games he's getting fed a little bit more. But Singletary, Zach Moss, always going to be a big part of the game plan because we cannot be a one-dimensional football team. We have to have other weapons that get you guessing like, oh, wow, we're not prepared for this. And you know what you're going to get out of Josh Allen. I think you're going to get some designed run calls. I didn't think he was going to get that many designed run calls last week. I thought most of his rushing yards were going to come off of extending plays, getting out to the edge, maybe nobody's open, busting up the hole, getting that first down, vice versa. But I'll tell you what, I see them definitely, the Buffalo Bills offense with Dable coordinating it. I see them getting some designating runs. And especially when you see a guy who, on that 3rd and 4, 3rd quarter, 4th quarter, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, whatever it may be, when he runs that ball, he is not going down. He is going to try to hurdle over you. He is going to try to lower that shoulder, and he's going to try to make that team successful. He is going to play for every single player that suits up with him, that laces up on that field, that's wearing that, blue and white, or whatever the uniform may be, that Buffalo Bills uniform. He's going to play his heart out for them day in and day out. And that's something, as Buffalo Bills fan, we have to sit back and we have to applaud that. We have to be happy that we have a quarterback that can do these kind of things, that cares this much about this football team. So, the Tennessee Titans defense is struggling. We talked about their offensive line struggling. Well, guess what? Their defense is struggling, okay? They got one player really on that line with Harold Landry, he's averaged a half sack or more the last 4 of the 5 games. So he's playing well, and it's going to be a big that offensive line is going to really need to keep tabs on where he is on that field because he's dangerous and he's playing hard. Now, the Tennessee Titans defense, I wouldn't say is as bad as the Kansas City Chiefs defense, but it's not saying much because their defense is really struggling. 8.4 yards per average, 28th in the league. Okay? They're right around that 20 to, they're right in that 20 to 30 region, So that defense has holes, and I believe that offense for the Buffalo Bills will exploit those holes. And it's all going to start with, don't bite off more than you can chew, right? So get those easy completions to start the game, run the ball effectively, mix it up. We got 4 quarters of football to play. We don't need to be scoring touchdowns, going for 20, 40-yard plays every play. We don't need to be doing anything crazy, trying to show off. We need to establish the momentum, establish the run, build the momentum, throw the ball well, read the coverage, and get into a groove. And Allen now, the first 2 games. First 2 games against Pittsburgh and Miami, offense didn't look great. We ran the ball well, but the offense, Allen was struggling. But now, since that Washington game, it has been fireworks on that offense. It has been a passing attack. It has been unbelievable. The new acquisition of Emmanuel Sanders has really turned out to be a good move for the organization. A great pickup by the GM, by Bean, and he's been doing phenomenal because this year, what makes us so dangerous, we talk about the complementary football, which I'll get back to, but last year it was all Stephon Diggs, So the only person, you were really, really worried about was Diggs. Beasley, of course, too. He had a phenomenal year, but we're spreading the ball so well, We're really giving everybody chances to make catches and make plays, and that's what they're doing. I mean, Sanders is playing phenomenal. Diggs is playing well. Knox is playing phenomenal. Cole Beasley, it's been a little bit slow, but I mean, he's always a slot threat. You always got to keep your eye out. Where's Cole Beasley on third down? Because he's a great person to, just pick up that first, and he can catch the ball very well. He runs good routes, and he's very effective. I think he will. He'll heat up as the season keeps going. So, that offense, needs to get that opportunity, though, because we talk about time of possession. And, if you're not getting the ball very much, if they're taking 8 minutes out of the quarter running up, 10, 12, 14 play drives and getting touchdowns, then that's tough because now you're getting, 1 or 2 possessions a quarter? I mean, obviously not every drive is going to be a 10-minute drive, a 6-minute, an 8-minute drive, but that's the Tennessee Titans' MO. They want to run that ball, establish that run game, and then they want to burn you with the play action, and they want to get that defense gassed out. Now, I think it's very important to note that we have 8 different D linemen that are hitting reps on that defensive line. We got plenty of guys moving in and out in rotation, giving those other guys, a breather, a nice new energy to jump on the field and just really go after it, over the course of the game. So you got Mario Addison, a guy that comes in. You got AJ Esperanza, I can never say his name right, and other threats. I mean, we got Oliver, Hughes, Rousseau. Who knows how he's going to play? He's been playing phenomenal. I expect another great game from Rousseau. And that defensive line, I mean, we have so many moving pieces that keep it fresh. So we're not going to get completely burnt out. But with that being said, we got to get off that field and make stops. Okay? Linebackers, big emphasis on the linebackers. Edmonds, who's playing phenomenal. I mean, he looks the best he's looked. I mean, the one thing that was said about Edmonds was, I mean, he can get all these tackles on the, by the end of the year. He can go in the Pro Bowl, yada, yada, yada. But can he make some game-altering plays? Can he get turnovers? And he's got a couple turnovers, and he's really showing that he can do it all. I mean, Milano, I hope he's back. I didn't do enough research to see if he's going to be coming back. He's a big part of the game plan. Matt Milano is an unbelievable coverage linebacker, and he moves extremely well. He's extremely fast, and he's a great tackler. But let me tell you what. A.J. Klein, linebacker, he plays hard. He's a very gritty linebacker. He's going to make all those little plays, He's going to run that sideline to sideline. He's going to put pressure. He's going to tackle. He's going to try to force that thing out, and he's going to play every single down that man's on the field. He's going to play hard, and that's what you love to see. He stepped up in the last game against Kansas City because Milano was injured, and he played phenomenal. DBs, I think the DBs are always going to play well with Micah Hyde, Poyer coming back, Tre'Davious White, an unbelievable cornerback. Levi Wallace, I think he's got a lot to prove, but, I mean, he's been playing pretty well this year. So I think our defense is going to play well enough to get it done. And on top of that, I think the offense with Josh Allen, he's just going to have a field day out there. Once that rhythm, once he starts getting that rhythm going and starts connecting on some passes, recognizing defense, seeing where the pressure's coming, where to shift the line, and he starts getting into that flow state, I think you're going to see a game from Allen that's going to be 300 yards plus. I think he's going to throw for 300 yards plus. And I think he's going to probably run for upwards 40 yards plus. I predict the Bills win this game in Tennessee. I think it's not a rollover game. Both teams got great coaches. Going to have Leslie Frazier, drop a nice game plan against Tennessee because their offense is dangerous. Mike Vrabel is a great coach for Tennessee. So I think it should be a great Monday night. And that's a wrap.